I've been using a new editor, Cursor, and it has completely replaced both VS Code and ChatGPT in terms of my coding workflow. And it's made it a lot faster, a lot better. Let me show you how. But before we get into the good parts, you may be wondering, am I going to have to relearn a bunch of stuff? Is this like a new Vim or Emacs? And the answer is absolutely not. It's a fork of VS Code. So if you're already using VS Code, super simple, one-click migration. You can use Copilot as well as the built-in AI. And the pricing, to get the best power, yes, you are going to have to pay. Otherwise, you're using mostly GPT 3.5, which is not nearly as good. And you can either give them money directly or just use your OpenAPI key. And so if you think maybe you're just going to use it every once in a while, yeah, just start with this and then see how it goes. I know they have a bunch of tricks for saving cost, which is how they can do the $20 a month and not go broke. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And here's how easy it is to use. I'm going to hit Command and L. Boom. And there, that's my chat. And so let's go ahead and rewrite task card. And now it already is loading that into the context in styled components. Hit enter and now it's rewriting it for me. So previously with ChatGPT, you would have had to copy all this, go here, and completely changing contexts. And so even if they didn't have any improvements over basic GPT-4, then this would be an improvement just because you can do it so fast. It's 2 button clicks and then you can add what you want to add, whether that's files, different functions. You can do it by the function. You can add in docs. We'll get to that in a second. But just the fact that it's so much easier to do makes it so you're going to use it a lot more. So I find myself reaching for the AI a lot faster than when I just had ChatGPT. And side note, yes, I do still use ChatGPT for non-programming things. And also, yes, I do use a lot more AI now that it's easier, just as predicted by Jevons paradox. So this has also largely replaced Stack Overflow and Google for fixing bugs. So let's go ahead and purposefully break our code. And so we have replaced task.filter with task.find, which you may note will replace it with a single item instead of an array. And TypeScript does recognize that something is wrong, but it doesn't recognize it up here. It recognizes it down here and gives us this is possibly undefined error. And that is not exactly useful. I mean, it is useful. It tells us there is an error, but it doesn't tell us a lot about how to fix it. So let's just go ahead and hit this button. And Cursor is going to tell us, first give us a little bit of an explanation of what could be going wrong, and then give us the code to fix it. So we can just copy and paste in that corrected code. And yes, it is the code we had before. And I don't think it was cheating by knowing that. And now it's fixed it. And so that's part of the beauty of having the entire context of at least the file. And you can see later, you can actually chat with the entire code base. And this is where some of their efficiency tricks come in, because large code bases, that's going to get real expensive if you're feeding that to GPT-4. Anyways, getting back to fixing errors. So this fixed it, and let's go ahead and try another one. So let's go ahead and remove the typing from useState. And here our code will actually work, but TypeScript doesn't know that. And so if we go here and ask the AI to fix it, then it gives a really good explanation of why useStateEmptyArray has the default of never array. And then it will suggest what to do to fix it, which is the exact right thing. And so if you're a TypeScript expert, you could see this error and know exactly what to do. However, if you're newer to TypeScript, or if you have some super complex stuff going on, then clicking this button, super helpful. Okay, so now let's get to some of the weaknesses of ChatGPT and whether this helps us overcome them. So we're going to start and first ask it to rewrite app.tsx in Preact signals, and it will comply, but notice it's not quite doing what we want. So it is using solid.js, not Preact signals. And actually, so when I tried this before preparing for this video, it was using Preact hooks, which is also not Preact signals. And then when I asked it, it said, you can't use Preact signals with React, you can only use it with Preact, which is completely wrong. Of course, ChatGPT is not any better. So I gave it the same prompt, I pasted in everything, and it tells us to use create signal from Preact, but that's not how it works. And so the reason is because this was introduced in 2022. That is after the current cutoff date. And we could use the new browse with Bing, but Cursor makes it even easier. So let's go ahead and add the docs. So we can say use Preact, and Preact is not actually there yet. So we need to hit add new doc. And so we can take I believe the getting started page. Yeah, let's try that. And the prefix, I think this, and then hit Preact here as the name and then confirm. And it's going to start indexing that. And so, this was happening in the background here that I think Copilot was doing stuff. Anyway, so now it's indexing and learning Preact. And let's see what it does. Okay, now it's at least not doing solid.js. I think we need to tell it to do signals specifically. Okay, yeah, so there's some, a little bit of issues with the input there, but does not change the good experience generally. Oh my God, it doesn't, it's right there, it's right there. Come on. Okay, so let's see if this works. And, oh my goodness, here we go. Is it working? Yes, it is working. So, yeah, this is kind of wild that I had to just tell it was wrong, and then it started working. It also is giving us installation instructions, so I don't think this is just going off what I pasted in there. And it gives us a link to some documentation which does not actually talk about signals or installation instructions. That's interesting. But if you go to the signals page, then these are actually the correct installation instructions. And so this is pretty good, but it has a lot of the same weaknesses as GPT-4 because they are using GPT-4 as a base model. And actually, I found this really interesting comment on their official forums. And someone's having a problem with Nix.js app router. And a response from one of the moderators is basically that there's so much Nix.js in the GPT-4 model that it's hard to train it on a different version of Nix.js. And so we'll see how that develops. So enough about what it can't do. Let's look at more cool things that it can do. So it can edit your code in line. So let's go ahead and copy all this, and we're going to hit Command K, and let's say we want to remove the status field. And it's going to go ahead and go over each of these lines, and you can see it working. And it's going to remove the status field. And so this is really nice when you have tedious things that maybe in the past you would do like a find replace with a custom regex, but the AI takes care of it perfectly. And so for more complex things, it's actually, I haven't found the Command K to be super great for more complex things, but it's possible that that is a skill issue on my part, that I'm just not prompting it correctly. Some other features, codebase, so you can have it crawl your entire codebase and put in some instructions so you can do more scans, so that means it's going to hit more of the code base, because there are token limits. If you have a huge code base, you're going to run into those. And so you can talk to your entire code base. That's a lot more useful the larger it gets. And there are also some things that I have not really tried that much, so auto debug. And so if you're running in the terminal here, then you can just have it look up and try to fix the errors. There's also, if you go to this More tab, something called AI linting, which honestly, I haven't really figured out how this works, but could be useful. And so that is my experience with Cursor. I highly recommend it. It has replaced VS Code and Google. However, it has not replaced thinking. And so you can't just turn your brain off when you start using it, except for like super small minor things. What's your experience been? Has it been useful? Have you been able to get Command K working? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you soon.